I'm Kelly, and I am an expert in the AI automation space for construction companies. I come from this world. Not many people can say that in this space. Not many people can say that they understand AI to the level that I do, to the degree of all the different ranges that you can do in corporate and then also building code. I am someone that comes with boots on the ground construction experience and also development experience. Not a lot of people can say that. So I am so excited to work with different construction companies, helping them solve different problems, operational problems. I worked for 14 years in operations, in sales, construction, and land for one of the top home builders in the entire country. I understand this. This is my world. I live this every single day. And one of the number one things that I was getting asked by construction companies, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of companies all the time. And the number one thing that people really wanted was a construction estimating system, something that they could really speed up their estimating. Maybe they're using Bluebeam for takeoffs. Maybe they're doing hand takeoffs. They've got all this information. They put it together. They type it out. They maybe hand write it out and they try to get some sort of proposal. Maybe they have a proposal in Google Sheet. Maybe they have just an Excel file. Maybe they just literally type it up or write it out on a piece of paper. But a lot of them were struggling with this and it took a very long time. And so I really wanted to solve this problem and I just did. I'm really excited. It took a combination of no code and low code, but also a combination of code. I think getting into the construction estimating world and getting into the complexities of it, I couldn't solve it with no code. We were going down a rabbit hole. And so I was able to solve it for two different construction companies. I would love to show you a demo of what it looks like so you can kind of understand what we're able to do. And again, this is just a demo. I can customize it depending on your options, what you do, the different types of things, maybe if there's tax rates, whatever, we can 100% customize that. That is the beauty of code. We can customize everything in there. So I'm going to show you guys kind of just a quick demo of what it looks like, just so you can get a feel of the power of what I can do with, having a construction brain, but also understanding AI. When you get those two things together, it is a completely different build. You get a completely different operational tool for your company. Let's show you right here. My team and I have been working on a couple different construction estimating type projects. So we found a solution that we are going to be using for a lot of projects moving forward. And this is kind of a walkthrough of how that would work. Basically, we spin up a custom coded app. And this app feeds into different systems. It feeds into your central source of truth. It feeds into maybe your Google Drive, whatever drives you have. We can kind of connect it to whatever you need. But this is just a little demo of how it works. So you could, connect with an existing one, use a new estimate. So let's do a new estimate. Let's just kind of load in some demo information, but you can do a client name or a property address. We're going to do next. And then right here, you select the different spaces that you want. So, say maybe you're just doing the windows and doors, maybe you're just doing the flooring. This will be very, very customizable depending on the company that I'm working with. So we can, put in whatever you want, different spaces, but basically different rooms or different areas that you're going to be working on and doing estimating for. And so you're going to click next. And then here's where you customize it. This is generally where people would go in and use a spreadsheet and figure out, okay, what's the quantity? What's the cost? Materials, if it's fixed or if it's labor. You can go and you can adjust, the different trades on it. So this one, there's cabinets on it, but what if, windows and doors are also coming in and you wanted to allocate some of the money to that as well. So you could do that and split up the costs in here. You could say, okay, we're not doing cabinets here. Maybe there's no maybe there's no like laundry plumbing in this one. So you really go through and customize what you want, which is pretty cool. So all the different areas that you selected, again, all of this is customizable depending on what your company uses and does. So then also, if you have things that you do like once on a very blue moon, you can add a custom line item. So you can do something very custom that you one-off did that's not something very standard that you have pricing for already. So then you would go through next. And here is kind of where you add any fees. This can be super customizable because we'll give you 3 different levels, maybe like a good, better, best type level for you. So you can bump up the fee, to 30%. Let's just say, okay, the contingency fee, we'll give that like a 20%, we're going to mark this up to like 50%. You can play around with different places in there. And then you would go to next. So this is going to be your summary. So you got your, good, better, best, depending on, where they're at, depending on their address. And then you can do the breakdown by different areas. You click on that. You can get that breakdown. But the cool thing is you can save the project. You can actually give the client proposal. So right here, this is where we would integrate it with your systems. We could do kind of whatever you need to do. But if you just wanted to see what that would look like, this can be super customizable. But this would just be a proposal. So very, very basic proposal gives you, a client-facing, really nice looking proposal. This is so much better than most people give, which is a spreadsheet. I talked to hundreds of construction companies that give spreadsheets. This is really nice for your clients and your customers. Then you have a team-facing one. So maybe you take this information, you put it into a different system. Maybe you want something more team-facing. It doesn't need to be pretty and all that kind of stuff. This is just a general team one, that breaks it out into different areas for what your team is going to be doing. So this is a really simple construction estimation system builder that builds a PDF that's professionally branded. You can put your logo in there. It can look really, really nice as well. So let me know if you have any questions on this. All right, thank you.